The American Civil War, one of the bloodiest conflicts in American history, and a fight that shaped the nation as we know it today. But what if I told you there are facts about the Civil War that you probably never learned in school? Shocking secrets that challenge everything you thought you knew? Ready to uncover the untold history of the Civil War? Stick around because we're diving into 5 facts that will blow your mind. Today, we're diving into a topic that's been taught countless times, but still has a lot of hidden truths. The American Civil War. While we know it was fought between the North and the South over slavery and states' rights, there are so many shocking facts that don't often make it into the textbooks. From secret strategies to unexpected alliances, the Civil War wasn't just about two sides clashing on the battlefield. So let's uncover 5 mind-blowing facts that will totally change the way you view this pivotal moment in history. Now, you might have heard about spies and espionage in wartime, but did you know the Confederacy had its very own network of secret agents? They weren't just relying on scouts and battlefield intelligence. No, they had an organized spy network that was actively working to sabotage the Union's efforts. In fact, one of the most successful spies was a woman named Belle Boyd. She was a Confederate spy who gathered vital information about Union movements and passed it along to Confederate generals. But Boyd wasn't alone. There were dozens of spies operating behind enemy lines, some even infiltrating Union headquarters. One of the most shocking aspects, the Confederacy was known for using not only civilians, but also diplomats and high-ranking officers to carry out covert operations, making their espionage efforts more effective and harder to detect. It's commonly known that African Americans fought for the Union, but what's often glossed over is just how important their role was in turning the tide of the war. By the end of the Civil War, over 180,000 black soldiers served in the Union Army. But did you know that black soldiers made up nearly 25% of the Union's fighting force? These soldiers weren't just cannon fodder, they were integral to key victories, including the battles of Fort Wagner and the Battle of Nashville. The bravery and commitment of black soldiers shattered stereotypes and helped to pave the way for the eventual emancipation of enslaved people. But here's the kicker. Black soldiers were often paid less than their white counterparts and faced brutal conditions. Despite all of this, they fought fiercely for freedom, and their contributions are often overlooked in mainstream discussions about the Civil War. This is one of the lesser-known facts about the Civil War. While we think of it in terms of hand-to-hand combat and gunfire, the war was actually a technological battleground. Innovations like the ironclad warship changed the way naval warfare was conducted forever. The most famous clash between these iron monsters happened at the Battle of Hampton Roads in 1862. It was the first meeting in combat of ironclad warships, the Union's USS Monitor and the Confederates' CSS Virginia. This battle marked the end of the era of wooden warships and began the age of steel and iron in naval warfare. On top of that, the Union utilized balloon corps for aerial reconnaissance, and both sides used early versions of telegraphs for communication. This reliance on technology had an enormous impact on military strategy and forever changed how wars would be fought in the future. Abraham Lincoln is often seen as one of the greatest U.S. presidents, but did you know that in the middle of the Civil War, Lincoln's re-election was far from guaranteed? In fact, in 1864, it looked like Lincoln was going to lose his bid for a second term. Why? Because by that point in the war, Union troops were losing battles, the economy was struggling, and the country was tired of the conflict. The Democratic Party was even running on a platform of negotiating peace with the South. But here's the twist. Just as Lincoln's approval was at its lowest, a stunning shift happened on the battlefield. The Union's victories at battles like Atlanta and Sherman's March to the Sea boosted morale and gave the electorate hope. Lincoln's victory wasn't just political. It was directly tied to the success of the Union Army. His second term would be crucial for passing the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery. One of the most unexpected outcomes of the Civil War was its influence on the development of a modern welfare state. As the war ended, the government began to take more responsibility for its citizens, and this included providing for veterans and their families. The Union's pension system was established after the war to support disabled veterans, widows, and orphans of the war. This was the beginning of federal welfare programs that would eventually lead to the establishment of Social Security and Medicare in the 20th century. The government's role in the well-being of its citizens was forever changed. The next time you think about the Civil War, remember these shocking facts. They remind us that history is always more complicated and more fascinating than we first realize. What's the most surprising fact you learned about the Civil War today? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to dive even deeper into history's untold stories, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.